There. Welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question today from Anne. It's a little long, but not too long. So let me see if I can scroll here and read it all. So Anne says, my 17-year-old daughter has trichotillomania, which is pulling your hair out, varying in severity. At first I saw it as a bad habit like nail biting because I saw her as normal and well-functioning young teenager. Last spring and summer, she had a period of poor psychological well-being at school as well as socially, and I realized that her trichotillomania was back in a severe way. One of the things I did as part of my help was offering her the opportunity to speak with a 3 principles coach, and I had talked to myself and found very helpful, or another professional person, of course. She agreed to one conversation with the coach, but refused to start the process of more conversations since she didn't find it helpful or meaningful. I've explained to her what this habit is, and I've found it helpful to look in the direction of the principles and why I think it might be helpful for her to look in this direction. That is, that this psychological understanding comes with more ease and often solves problems easier and more quickly than the established system does. I have a cold, I can't talk today. Unfortunately, she's not open to the opportunity in coaching, so instead she agreed to read a book about self-harm. She read the book, she said it didn't really help her. My hope is that I've planted some seeds here and that things can change on their own. She's feeling better. She's able to join all her classes at school and is happier and less frustrated, which is a big step in the right direction. However, she's still picking her hair in quite a severe manner, which I find worrying. I've talked with her about it, being specific that I don't find the missing hair a problem, but it's the reason why she does it that worries me. I worry about what it is that she's struggling with. I've told her that I just want her to know that no matter what, she can always come to me and I'll do my best to support her. There's part of me that tries to stay calm and believe that she'll find her way out of this habit, but then I also think it's my responsibility as a mother to tell her when it's time to seek professional help. I would love to hear how you would approach this matter, and I hope to hear from you. Okay, so first, Anne, obviously you're doing a great job of just trying to keep the communication open, being really loving about this as much as you can, managing your own worry and your own fear around it, which is not always easy. I think, and I'm hearing this in what you're saying, and I just want to encourage this and really make sure this part's clear. For you to just stay really open and hold your ideas and what's been helpful for you very loosely, and just kind of offer her up a lot of different options. So that might look like professional help. It might, within professional help, it might look like a 3P coach as you tried. It might look a totally different direction. Just because that has resonated with you does not mean that it will with her. And that's true of everything. There is no one thing that's going to resonate with everyone. It just won't work that way. Even if you really see the value in it and you love where it points, it doesn't matter. And especially with young people sometimes, I think sometimes that it may not be more with young people, but it's just my recent experience. Sometimes they just really gravitate more towards something super concrete and tell me how I can see or think about things differently, which is a little different from what you found really valuable. So again, I know you are doing this already, but I would just be really, really open, put yourself in a position where you're I have no idea what is going to help her. I have no idea what's most helpful. And I'm just going to keep feeling that out with her and offering her a wide range of possibilities and letting her kind of say what direction, resonates most. And if she picks something that is not what you think is most helpful or would work, trust it a little bit. Don't trust it completely, maybe, because she's 17 and she doesn't know. But we're always feeling that out with our kids. But mostly it's around the 3 Ps is not the only answer at all. So just stay really, really open in that regard. The other big thing, and I know we emailed a little bit about this, and I just want to mention. So you say you don't know the reason why she does this. So. And I can, in your message here, it's you're seeing that when she had a stressful time at school, it got worse, which is, of course, what happens with habits. But what I just want to say is that doesn't mean she's doing this habit day in and day out because of some deep emotional pain. It really doesn't. In fact, And this is what my book, The Little Book of Big Change, is all about. Like it doesn't necessarily mean that at all. There could just be habitual urges. Like this is comforting on some level, this habit, or she wouldn't be doing it. It's giving her something, even if it's just familiarity, a little comfort, or taking away the feeling of the urge to do it. So again, if we set aside stressful stuff going on, emotional stuff, if we just set that aside, when we have habits, the brain starts wanting to do that habit. And that brings a certain tension with it. And then you do your habit. So she pulls her hair out and there's a certain relieving of that tension. Now, again, this has nothing to do with her emotional well-being. I'm just saying, like, if we just look at it in this way, in that case, it would have nothing to do with what's happening at school or with her friends or any of that. It could be just like with smoking, for example, or some other substance. Behavioral habits aren't really that different in a lot of ways. So you could see how maybe with smoking, for example, there's a physical addiction. The brain starts wanting the nicotine. And so the cigarette is a way to just calm that wanting of nicotine. It's not about self-esteem anymore or looking cool or fitting in. Those might be some of the reasons people start to smoke. But at some point, there's just a habit that starts to take over, a body-mind habit. And so I just say this to kind of, again, keep you super open. Maybe she's having some emotional stuff. Most 17-year-olds are. That's a great thing to keep talking with her about. But I wouldn't assume that is directly linked to her hair pulling, even though, now this is going to sound contradictory, but it's not, even though, yes, when she's under more stress, it stands to reason that she will do more hair pulling. It still doesn't mean that the hair pulling is about that. It may just mean that in those times, her brain is a little more active, the habit's coming up more, and she really doesn't have any ability to kind of not do it. It just is even more comforting. But again, it doesn't mean that the root of this is some big emotional problem at all. So these are things I would just, for you as her mother, like just stay really open. I don't know. It could be body, mind, habit thing, and she just doesn't know how to feel an urge. She doesn't know that when an urge to pull her hair comes up, she doesn't have to act on that. That's ultimately, if I were working with her, that's really a big thing. Like, can she feel that urge to pull her hair and not do it? Or maybe it is, maybe there is more emotional stuff kind of in there with it, but you don't know. I don't know. Ultimately, this is going to come from her. And so I'd try these different angles. You're already, as her mother, trying to help her just be happy and well emotionally. So there's that's already happening. And then kind of look at this other side where maybe it's not so deep and it's not so personal. And I know you have resources for that and you can look in that direction as well. So I think you're doing amazing, and just best you can keep that communication open. That's what we're all trying to do, and it's not always easy. But you're doing great. And yeah, thanks for sending your question. I hope this is helpful for others as well. You guys can send your questions to AskAmy at thelittleschoolofbigchange.com. And I'll see you next week.